Hello everyone, this is JD Calderon and this is Indie Comics Explained, and today I'm going to be taking a look at 3 books that I recently read, and I have a box opening as well. So I'm going to do the opening and then we're going to get on with these books. And I know I call this thing Indie Comics Explained and I have a couple of DC books up here. I still read them. Well, one DC book and one Marvel book. Let's take a look to see what's inside this box. Just got this today. I remember ordering it last week, and to be honest with you, I kind of forgot what I ordered. I'm waiting on a few things, and this is one of things. I know these are comics. That stuff there. Out of the way. Okay. Oh yeah. Now I remember. Spencer and Locke number 2. I remember reading the first volume, enjoying it. And I remember they had announced this, but I hadn't remembered ever seeing it available in the previews, so I never ordered it. The place I ordered from, DCBS, they had it on sale, so I was like, all right, let me go pick it up, and I got it. Good stuff. Atmospherics. This is I think a one shot. Okay. This is Warren Ellis. This is an old school one. This is from Avatar. So this is just something he did back then when he was working with them quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Strange Killings. I did a bunch of videos on the later versions of this. This is Gravel, but this was the beginning. Yeah, Gravel was the other series that I read, and those are a lot of fun. This is the earlier stories of that same character, so looking forward to that. That's cool. And Granville by Brian Talbot. So this thing is actually kind of cool looking. And it was on sale. I think, I don't know. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe it was $10 for this thing. But yeah, that looks actually pretty cool. Looking forward to reading that. Yeah, by Dark Horse. So I got a few nice little buys there. So it'll be interesting to read. All right. Where are we going to start? We're going to start with X-Force. Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. Now, in the past, I've enjoyed Rick Remender's work. Kind of had a bone to pick with him because he had done a book at Dark Horse called, I think it was Gigantic. And it was a book about giant robots and I believe kaiju and that sort of thing. And it was looking... I think he got up to issue 8 or 9 or something. And then he got hired at Marvel. And he just abandoned that series. And he ended it. He made an ending for it. And he just ended the series. The problem with that ending was that it was very abrupt. Very inorganic. It just didn't work. And because of that, I've been kind of holding a grudge against Rick Remender. Although I heard that his Uncanny X-Force run on Marvel was really good. And that it was complete, meaning it was one complete story, and nothing really interfered with it. None of their crossover events, none of that jazz interfered with it. And I went ahead and I brought this one. I also got the second volume. This is volume 1. There's a second volume to this. And I have to say I really enjoyed this. This was fun. It was weird reading it because I found a lot of the dialogue to be kind of stiff. There was a lot of, for me, a little bit too uncharacteristic joking around by Wolverine. I mean, I guess Phantom X and Deadpool, they do their thing. And I guess Wolverine is just adding in his own wit in it, I guess. And it's funny sometimes, but a lot of the times I feel some of the humor fell flat. I actually preferred it a little bit more when it got a little bit more serious in tone and it moved forward like that. There's a lot of great art in here. A lot of various artists. Some good stuff. Interesting stories. You have this whole thing with Apocalypse and Angel becoming Apocalypse and this whole thing. I hope I'm not destroying the story for you. This thing is I believe about 10 years old. It came out, I think, in 2010, 2011 or something. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Alternate reality Blob, alternate reality X-Men, alternate reality Jean Grey, that sort of thing. It's fun. It's a fun book. Like I said, I found this stuff to be a little stiff at times. But, overall I really enjoyed it. There's a second volume to this. I haven't started reading it yet, but I'm going to get to it soon. So, good book. Good on you, recommender. I don't know if you've redeemed yourself in my eyes, but, hey, what does it matter? Then here we have Jack of Fables, the deluxe edition. This is book 3. The funny thing about this book is that DC had released the first 2 volumes, and this one they hadn't announced. A lot of people were nervous. They thought DC had just dropped it, and they weren't going to do this 3rd volume. And I was like, damn it. It just sucked, because this completes the entire series. This gives you all the way up to issue 50. I have all the trades. The problem is that when I get these books, I like to get rid of my trades. So then that way, I always have these. I don't keep the trades around. So I was very happy when this came out. They actually offered this with the, they were going to do an absolute version of Fables. The problem happens, they canceled that, but they didn't cancel this, so that's good. Now let's see what they're going to do with Fables, because I would like to get that in some kind of really nice format. But I love these books. They're a little bit larger than a standard comic book. And this particular story is wacky and funny and fun. And it's about, mostly it's about, not about Jack of Fables, but his son. And the things he goes through to become a hero, and how he becomes a hero, and that sort of thing. And things that happen in the story, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah. It's fun as far as what happens. So, Jack of Fables, definite plus. And now, this. We have Karen Gillan, Mora, Tamara Bonvillian, and Once and Future, Volume 1, The King is Dead. This was fun. This isn't a take on the Arthurian legend. And also a take on the, I guess, the thought process of where if a person believes themselves to be in a story, they become part of that story, right? What's funny is to read this along with Jack of Fables. That's exactly what Jack of Fables is. He's a character who's actually physically much stronger, faster. He heals very quickly. He's immortal, pretty much, because so many people have read his stories and believe in him. They've made him into this extra thing, He's powered by the myth. And Jack of Fables, there's been a lot of different Jacks throughout history. So, Jack and the Beanstalk, I don't know, there have been a bunch of Jacks, but that's the thing with this story. And now Once and Future runs similarly in that characters raised their children to believe they were like Galahad and Gawain within the Arthurian legend. And by doing that, they've inserted them into the legend, into the story. And it's very interesting the way it's done. Karen Gillan is an incredible writer. Now, I love the story. It's fantastic. It's great. But the one thing I really love in this book is the art. Dan Mora is incredible. I first saw his work when he was working with Grant Morrison on the Santa Claus series of books that they've done together. And Dan Mora is incredible. And I have to say, I doubt if Dan Mora will ever hear these words. But, sir, if you can, stay away from Marvel and DC. Stay away from superhero comics. Stick to fantasy. so many people just get stuck at those companies. Fantastic artists doing work that, I'll be honest with you, within 50, 60 years, nobody's going to remember it. And that's unfortunate. And and I don't say that to be mean. I'm just saying that, Green Lantern is great, but, you're just going to be another Green Lantern story amongst 10,000 others with, dozens and dozens of other artists. But with this stuff, I mean, Dan Mora, his work is just so incredible. It's like very clean, very precise. I just love that. And I would just love to see Dan Mora do more fantasy work. This is the first volume. There is going to be a second volume. And I was very happy when I saw that, because it looked like at the end of this, it actually ends the arc, but there is going to be more. So that's actually really cool. So yeah. So if you like Arthurian Legends, you like fantasy, Karen Gillan, you like awesome art, Dan Mora, great book, definitely a must-have. So we got X-Force, Jack of Fables. I got my next stuff to read: Strange Killings, Spencer and Lot 2, Atmospherics, and Grandville. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you soon. This is JD, and I'm out.